Welcome back to the biggest week in golf, everybody. We got the Masters from Augusta, Georgia. In this video, I'm going to be going over a little bit of my cheat sheet, some of my favorite stats, some of my favorite plays. We're going to start at dfsr.com, dailyfantasysportsrankings.com. That's where I write the article every week. To find the cheat sheet, get into the article. Just below the title here, you're going to find the picture, the image of the cheat sheet, as well as you can click the link just below that. It's going to open a Google Sheet, another tab. What that is a view only, so to be able to adjust the models or to sort any of the columns, what you're going to want to do is go up to File, make a copy, name it whatever you want, click OK, and it's going to open your own copy of the Google Sheet. You're going to be able to sort columns, make your own models. So we're going to start here. I'll show you how to sort the data. We're going to sort by DK dollar. You're going to click on anyone in that column, go up to Data, sort Z to A, be highest to lowest. So there we go, we got DK pricing. I talked about in the article how very soft pricing this week, so it makes it very easy to get Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy into your lineups. They're elite plays. Rory McIlroy, I wrote about in the article. If you're just playing, a couple lineups, he is cheaper. That $700 difference, $900 from Spieth makes a lot of difference in getting him in a much better balanced lineup together. But if you are making multiple like myself, I'm probably doing 50 to 100 lineups here this week. It's very easy. Very easy to get two of the three of them in a lineup and still feel very comfortable about your lineup and the upside that it brings, because there is a lot of value throughout the 90, 92 player field, 94 player field. So one thing I'm looking at closely this week, just with the high probability of 24 to 35 mile an hour winds that are going to be there on Thursday and Friday, is bogey avoidance. The scoring is definitely going to be a lot lower. I guess you could say higher. It's golf than usual. So bogey avoidance, I think, is going to be a key stat for something to look at for those guys Thursday, Friday. So we're going to go over here. We're going to sort this column, kind of have a look at those guys. Right at the top of the list, we got Bill Hawes. Now, I talked about him in the article. He's one of my favorite plays this week. He's only 7,200. He's had success here at the Masters in the past, finishing, scrolling over here, 24th, 12th, 20th, and 20th the last 4 years. He hasn't picked up a top 10. I'm kind of looking at some trends. Guys coming into the Masters that can win the last 5 years have all came in with a top 10 earlier in the year. At least one, actually two top 10s early in the year over the last 5 years. Hawes did have a top 10 at the WGC HSBC Champions back in October, so he kind of fits that trend. And then kind of looking at some of his other stats I mentioned in the article as well, is his strokes gain around the green is going to be important. The greens are going to be fast. Making a mistake around the green at Augusta could cost you more than just a bogey. It cost you double bogey or worse. So strokes gain around the green is another stat that is going to be really important this week. Hawes hits on strokes gained approach. He misses a little bit on the driving distance and par 5 birdie or better percentage, but I think just with that wind, the first couple days, it's definitely going to be try and survive and not make a big number and try and get to that weekend to give yourself a chance to be able to make those scores on Saturday and Sunday when the weather looks a whole bunch better. It also enhances my, I guess you could say, fandom of Jordan Spieth, sitting here third in bogey avoidance. He's coming back after his meltdown on the 12th hole last year. Give up a 7, as well as I think it was bogey before that. Give up the green jacket to Willett. But as you can see, looking at his course history now, he's finished second, first, and second here. He has destroyed the field each day by day, here at the Masters. So I just, with that motivation this year, after answering question after question after question, I think he's going to be out there looking to not just win the green jacket back, but absolutely destroy the field and take that green jacket back. So seeing him up there in bogey avoidance with kind of the weather, definitely looking at Jordan Spieth this week. It's also promising to see first-timer John Rahm. He's going to be high owned this week, but he's one of the first-timers to Augusta that I'm going to be looking at, just because just his raw talent. I mean, you look over here at the stats, he's top 5 in almost every strokes gain stat. Tee to green, or around the green, I mean, he's 40th, so I mean, that's his kind of his downfall. That could hold him back a bit. But looking at his approach, looking at his off the tee stats, looking at his total tee to green stats, he's got the driving distance. Scrolling over even farther, he's 6th in bogey avoidance. He's 5th in par 5 birdie or better percentage. He's got game. He's the future of golf. So I don't think he's going to win this week, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him with a top 10 and the 8,600. I think he can make enough birdies to where he's going to finish with enough DraftKings points to definitely hit value. So I don't think you have to worry about the chalk with him too much this week. Another guy I talked about in the article was Paul Casey. He fits that bogey avoidance very well. He's 11th in that bogey avoidance. He kind of fits the bill, like I said, kind of like a Bill Haas, where he doesn't really fit the par 5 birdie or better percentage, or he's actually a little bit better in the driving distance, but when you look at his around the green and his approach stats, he's right there, fits the model very well. And then kind of going back, looking at course history, he's got top 10s in the last 2 years here, after taking 2 years off, and a 66 before that. So he's definitely trending in the right direction to have another good Masters. He's a good win player as well, so definitely look at him. Sergio Garcia is right there as well. He's going to be one of my favorites. One guy that showed up after winning last week, Russell Henley. Still disappointed in myself I didn't play him last week. I was on him early, kind of decided to fade him because of ownership, got bit hard. So definitely see getting back on him. He's got top 10s in 2 of his last 3 tournaments. 21st here at the Masters, his last trip back in 2015. So he fits on the bogey avoidance as well. So he's definitely there in the model, going to be playing lots of Henley as well. Taking a look at the strokes gain around the green statistic, we're going to go and sort that column. Take a look at a couple of guys. Right at the top there, we got Phil Mickelson. He's talked a lot this week. Listened to him in interviews. He's worked in his around the green, especially with the speeds. His home course or his home green that he's been working on, he said he's got it up to about a 15 on the stim meter, which is even faster than what we're projected to see here this week. So, he's going to be ready, and seeing him at the top of the strokes gain around the green, it has me even like him and even more going for his 4th green jacket. So, definitely going to be on Phil again this week. Jason Day's up there in that stat as well. He's going to be extremely low owned this week. You can really take a chance on him. Definitely don't in cash games, but for tournaments it makes a lot of sense because you can get he's an elite player in the world. He's got the upside to win. He fits a lot of the stats models. It's just really the narrative, him kind of thinking about his mom in the back of his head. She had a piece of her lung removed here just recently, cancerous, so whether his head's going to be in it or not is really to be determined, but the low ownership definitely makes him a nice GPP play for sure. Guy got highlighted here. I had highlighted before. He's kind of in that low 6K. There's not really a lot of guys in that 6K range I'm looking at doing stars and scrubs. There's just so much value in that low to mid 7K range. But one is Hideo Tanahara. If you didn't watch the match play, he played really well, made a really strong run. He sits here nice in the strokes gain around the green. Not so great off the tee, which really I'm not looking at too much this week. He's kind of up there, about middle of the pack in the strokes gain approach, so he fits there. He's one of those first timers, so definitely a GPP play only. If I'm doing 10 lives, I'm probably going to only throw him in there once. So, but he does make a good, I think, ownership separation from Soren Kjeldsen, who's going to be popular at that same price of $6,500 on DraftKings. So keep that in mind when you're looking at that low end when you're doing stars and scrubs lineups. Another guy I'll be looking to pair with one of the top 3 here this week is Brandt Snedeker, right at 8,000. He's number 22 in the world, 50 to 1 in the odds. As you can see, he's finished top 10 at the Masters 2 of his last 4 years, including T10 here last year. He has top 10s in 3 of his last 5 tournaments coming in, so he hits on that trend as well. Looking over at the stats, we see that he is 24th in around the green, 44th in approach, so not as good there. Excellent putter. We know he's an excellent putter. Doesn't have that driving distance, but once again, he plays well in the wind. If you remember going back to the Farmers Insurance Open last year when it was crazy winds, I think he was one of only 2 players to shoot under par when the average was around 78 to 80 on the day. He shot, I believe it was like a 67 or 68, so he's definitely no stranger to playing in the wind or having success in the wind. He hits on the bogey avoidance as well, so I definitely will be on Brandt Snedeker. Going down even more, we got Jimmy Walker in the mid 7K range. He won his first major last year, so we know he can compete with the best players in the world. He comes at an excellent price, inside the top 25 in the world. Sitting 13th in strokes gained approach right now. His around the green game has a little to be desired, so that's something to maybe watch. Definitely GPP only again because of that, I believe. Same with some of his other stats. I mean, bogey avoidance, par 5 birdie or better percentage. But he knows how to win, and coming back to Augusta, he's got 29th, 38th, and 8th. So we've got a top 10 here and 2 top 40 finishes in the last 3 years. So I can see him definitely making the cut with upside of another top 10 as well. And we know he's got upside to win a major as well. He's got that pedigree as well. So Jimmy Walker, I think, makes a great play at 7,600. And as you can see, he's number 12 on my overall weighted rankings. Another guy I'm looking at going down a little further, Emiliana Grill. He's one of those first-timers, one of the few that I'll be looking at this week. I apologize, he's not a first-timer. Missed that there. He actually finished 17th last year. What I meant to say was he was a first-timer last year, was very impressive finishing 17th, because you're not normally looking at first-timers here at Augusta. So seeing that, I think he could even improve on that. He's coming in with a top 10 on his current form after some middling 52, 43rd, 63rd place finishes. Looking at his statistics coming over a little bit, he's right around that top 30 mark in approach and around the green, which is nice to see. Kind of middle of the pack when it comes to driving distance. But one thing I was looking at closely here is that greens in regulation. He's not the long stiff hitter, so kind of looking at making sure that when you're not picking a guy that hits that 300 plus yard drive, I want a guy that's going to be good with his long iron. So looking at greens in regulation from 175 to 200, we see that Grill is 7th from 175 to 200 and top 20 in the 200 plus range. He also hasn't been mentioned too much. I think maybe 6 times as a start and once as a sit play on Fanshare Sports so far into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening here. So definitely think he makes a nice GPP play as well. Could be a little bit sneaky. Next up, Charlie Hoffman. I don't think he's going to be as sneaky. He's 20th in my overall weighted rankings. He's finished 29th and 9th here the last 2 years. He's coming in with a 23rd, a 2nd, a missed cut, a 4th, and a missed cut. So he's kind of been up and down. But I think he makes sense when looking at the model. He is top 30 in strokes gained approach. Going over even further, we see he's top 35 in birdie or better percentage. Not the greatest in bogey avoidance or par 5 birdie or better percentage. So once again, he's going to be a GPP play only because he doesn't really stand out in one area besides that history, which I think I'm probably going to lower a little bit if that weather keeps up, because that can just change everything. The last guy I'm going to mention here is going to be Francisco Molinari. He falls a little bit below in the course history. He does have a top 20 back in 2012. Hasn't had as much success since playing in 2013, 2014. But he does come in with 4 top 20s and most recently a 7th place finish as well. So looking at the stats, he kind of fits the bill as well. He isn't as great around the green, but his approach, he's right up there at the top of the field in strokes gained approach, which kind of makes him stand out, especially at a price tag of 6,800. So it really helps with those stars and scrubs lineups. He's also looking at the bogey avoidance. He's 26th in bogey avoidance, 15th in par 5 birdie or better percentage. So he hits on a lot of those stats we're looking at this week. So I think he can definitely make an impact, and at 6,800 makes a great value play, especially, like I said, in those stars and scrubs lineups. If you have any other questions about anyone I maybe didn't mention in the video or in my article, please reach out to me on Twitter at Jaeger_bombs9, or you can join the chat. I'm going to be there pretty much all day tomorrow, talking golf, talking picks. To find that chat, just go over to dfsr.com, and in the bottom, once you log in, you click on menu. You can go into the public chat room. Probably going to be in there bugging the NBA guys a little bit about golf. But you can also go into menu here in the gray area, click on chat. We have actually a dedicated niche sport chat room, NHL, PGA, NASCAR chat here. You click on that, it's going to open up, and this is where you're going to find me all day tomorrow. Blast any question you want. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button, and we'll talk to you soon.